Yeah, it's smooth enough. I don't need, it's not like one of the monologue videos. It's just straight. Well, you like vaping or just actually just normal cigarette?
Oh, we we out here smoking weed.
Oh shit, okay.
But
Yeah.
I'm gonna be courteous and always like duck on the side or something because that's it's kind of like Twitch streaming, you know. I don't want to get you in trouble.
Oh, is that oh, because certain places it's not legal yet, and would that actually mess me up if you smoked weed
Nah,
on the thing?
nah. It's just when you're streaming, I always want to be generally courteous and be like family friendly kind of like attitude, you know.
Okay, well, it's fine with me, man. I think you should just smoke weed on the thing, dude. I just for the flow.
Whoa,
Um,
this nigga smoking weed.
yes, this person is smoking weed. I
uh,
can't. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I can't get anything done when I'm stoned. I can only check stuff out and get hyped.
son,
But
when am I not? Every time you seen me, I am some kind of somewhere with that kind of shit.
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
like,
yeah,
I will never
drugs.
not.
Yeah, drugs are like it's an extension of one's body in a way.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
just too habitual with it, which I mean, I should probably cut back. But I'll figure something out one day, someday.
well, I smoke every night before I go to sleep, and it's like it really blots out dreaming for me. Like when I give it up for a little while, all of a sudden I realize just the fucking monstrous abyss that I'm like just like
Oh,
not looking at every night, that I could be.
vivid and vague dreams and all sorts of weirdo encounters and
Yeah.
yeah, like it just weed.
This is fucking
I
weird.
try not to advertise that I'm like whatever about it, like I'm always out here smoking. It's just like because I'm not like some crazy 420 culture motherfucker. I just
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah. It's not part of your image or whatever.
I smoke blunts and mids like a motherfucker. I used to grow up smoke circles, just blunt after blunt with my brother and shit, just because quantity over quality at that point. But like,
Yeah. I miss blunts, man. I mean, I didn't know your generation still did blunts because that was like in New York in the 90s, it was all about, I mean, everyone, white, black,
you
everyone,
don't put
yeah.
your spit on the blunt; it's gonna have AIDS.
Yeah, yes. I'm sure only semi-ironically probably said that at some point. But then you're like sprinkling all different kinds of stuff in it, and it's like this big
Yeah,
like burrito of weed, and like someone has shrooms. Like I like miss
yo,
that, dude. Like on like rooftops and stuff. It's like what happened to my life? Anyway,
yeah,
but
people still get down, but I'm turning 29. That doesn't really mean shit to whatever. It's still young to everybody, but I'm over that type of not over it, but like I do like small curated moments like that I don't have to like stretch myself thin for. Like I do not like
yeah,
to take drugs that like that's why I like to smoke weed a lot. I quit drinking like a year ago, so I'm on over a 1 year mark for
nice,
drinking.
nice, nice, nice.
And I just kind of pretty much just stick to this, if not maybe microdose a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit.
yeah. People are into that. It helps my girl loves that
Mhm.
the
Yeah, I do that. That's
microdose.
the safest thing for me. I hate full on tripping. I can't do it. I admit, just.
That's I used to like high school. I was all about and college. I did a lot of acid and mushrooms, and I can't.
Yo,
The last time I did it's like I was just like it started to kick in, and after like 45 minutes, I was like, dude, I have like 8 more hours of like this is. I was like, I can't integrate this into an adult life. Like
yeah. It's a lot to even do one thing or another, but it's stupid. Oh, also I forgot we are here. Whoa, hey. Oh, hey. Okay, now
yeah,
I'm
you got the
seeing
comments. Dude, you got fans, man. You got a fan base. Some people were like, dude, send him and Looker. I'm like, yeah, dude.
yeah, it's a small world, man. Like you never know who knows who because this music industry or culture community is small.
Culture.
It's incestuous.
Yeah, yeah. It's music. It's industry when I come out in the plus on something. It's cult when I lose money. It's like it's culture, man. I do it for the culture.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's what I yeah. Like I'm still even if I'm doing the B.O.B. thing and like some pop shit, whatever here and there. It's still like I still have my roots more in the DIY shit. Like,
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Actually, yeah, before we even get into the Kendrick thing, actually,
mhm.
it might be cool to just like tell people what you're doing musically, even though you sort of like, yeah, you didn't seem like you were all about like, yeah, I'm gonna hype my stuff up, but like, I mean, this is an artist's show, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So it's like, and I have to admit, dude, I didn't know who B.O.B. is. Is that like a super famous pop star or some shit? Or
I mean, he's definitely like he's everywhere kind of thing. Like his music, I don't feel like I couldn't escape it kind of thing, because I was like, it was kind of funny because I was working at like this pizza chain called Mellow Mushroom, and every day I would be hearing like top 40 type bullshit, and it would just be monotonous and repetitive and all that good stuff. But some of the songs I would hear would be like "Beautiful Girls" or Bruno Mars, like "Beautiful Girls."
yeah,
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 like
yeah. Dude,
that
I don't mind Bruno Mars. Like I
yeah,
actually like a little bit fuck with Bruno Mars. It's
Bruno
so
Mars is
weird,
the
but
shit.
it's
And I mean,
wholesome.
like, and Atlanta, like, you're bound to be around those kind of people every other day anyway, in some place or case or whatever. Like, I remember, man, that same Mellow Mushroom. I had the rarest sighting of, I don't know if you are familiar with, Janelle Monáe.
I mean, I know who she is. I really don't know
Yeah.
if I know her songs much, but yeah.
I don't listen to her discography, but she's still the shit. And, she's around here kind of thing. And like that group of people, but like Kalindo is the name of her guitarist, and he's like this kind of like just has like this whole persona going on with him, glasses, bowl cut wig kind of thing going on, and like freshest digs. But I saw him without any of that shit on one time, and probably should have taken a picture with him, but I didn't, because I was like, oh, who do you play with? Because he had a guitar and there's like a Schecter or something, and like he's like, oh, my persona is named Kalindo, but I play with Janelle Monáe, and it was like a rare sighting, like just one of those, like you see like a shooting star like out at
Yeah, yeah,
night
like
kind
a
of thing.
comet. Yeah, it's interesting the vibe of like side men or side people who have a persona, like session guys and producers. Like I didn't really think of that as a thing actually before like Thundercat. I mean,
Yeah, like Mono Neon.
I don't know them. But
Oh, you don't know Mono Neon?
no, no.
Yo, check out Mono Neon. Like,
Okay.
yeah, that dude is one of the best bassist in the fucking game, boy, for at least like funk and things like that. He was the last bassist to play with Prince before he died.
Okay, right on, right on. But
But
like
Mono Neon,
yeah, he's like
incredible.
a guy with a vibe, like a visual, like a persona and a whole thing. Because like, yeah, I mean, different genre, but like John Five is like totally that,
Oh
like
my
right,
god.
like absolutely
Yeah.
that to a
Now
T,
he's
right?
playing in Motley Crue. It
Good on him, you know.
perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect come around. But yeah, the session world, I mean, like you really have to be, you are selling yourself next to what you can and can't play, whatever the fuck.
yeah,
But like, as long as you have a good attitude and you fit in with whatever the idea is presented, and you can just do it regardless of whatever aesthetic you got going on, then like it's even better, because people like what you got going on, and they fuck with what you got laying down. So that's kind of also what helped with the B.O.B. thing, because I was working on a different project as opposed to his music. And so hopefully that can come out soon. I can't really say much about it, but
yeah, yeah, yeah. Right, yeah, yeah. You can't, yeah. Because I love doing sideman work. I don't do it as much as I'd like to. I think a lot of people who, like myself, who are just putting it out there for years, like I'm this guy with this whole own thing and blah blah blah. It's like people might not expect that I actually love just laying in the cut, doing what I'm told, getting a
yeah,
check,
that shit is honestly,
being easy to work with, showing up on time.
you
Especially if
learn
it's
so much, and it rewards you so, just you just, yeah, it just makes you feel like a real working musician. And
yeah,
if you can
yeah,
get
yeah.
paid from that service,
Yeah, like that's the thing. And it's like, we were talking about the industry versus culture. It's like, I mean, as much as people talk about like, oh, like capitalism, business is evil, like without philosophizing too hard about something like, business, capitalism, whatever, it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
there is something like actually wholesome and spiritually deep about being like the world demands this. You know, like
Yeah.
there is like a demand. It's not like trying to get people into shit. Like people are into it. They're ready. That is created a job that you can do. You know, there is, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, it's sick. It feels to know that there's that anticipation just to see, if not your original work, then just what you can get your hands into. Which I mean, that's the same thing applies for like when we were talking about this Kendrick album. There's so many working hands on this. It's incredible the
yeah,
lineup
man.
of musicians on this. Like people
Yeah.
that everybody listens to. Everybody. And they just did this thing and they're giving it for the culture. And it's just
It's
oh
so crazy. And it just has that vibe of like a bunch of just brilliant people, like unlimited studio time. I mean, it just sounds like they just were work, you know, just like
diligent.
it just has that vibe of like just they tried out every idea, pared everything down, built it back up, like,
Yo,
you know.
it's like a this album, honestly, it's like a you know what I mean when I say it's like an Electric Ladyland like record. It
I
feels like one of those kind of made records, like because it's like that like time where like D'Angelo and like Common and Erica were all in the Roots, and everybody was in that one Electric Ladyland studios going into one session, another
Oh, the
session.
actual studio. I didn't know that. It was recorded at Electric Ladyland
I don't
Studios.
think this record was. It's just
Yeah.
that like it has that feeling because when you listen to records like that in that era, so if you listen to like D'Angelo's Voodoo, there's like Questlove on like a lot of those drum tracks, and then you got dudes like Pino Palladino playing bass and shit, and like all those other dudes are doing other records in that like time. So they were like working on Erica records and like other shit like that, and it's just like there's just interludes and jams and just locked in ideas that
Yeah.
like have a good structure, but that have like melody and form and structure and freedom in the end. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
the
great.
concept record factor, you know, not just tied together by the repeated, you know, poem that he said. I mean, but just as a general thing. Yeah, it's such a concept record and like yeah, I mean, I was feeling like it doesn't even I'm like, is this a rap album? I mean, obviously it's a rap album, but like
Yeah.
the way it unfolds with like, I mean, the main thing for me being like, or the main like out there thing is just how it's like in the middle of a song, just switching to a completely different groove, completely different vibe, like in the middle of tracks. Like after some
Mhm.
titular line that like really hits you, it just suddenly drops out. And then it's
Yo,
something totally
yeah.
else. Like it kind of like I only first heard that in like sicko mode, you know, the Travis Scott track. Like that to me was
Yeah, I feel that.
I was like oh like who like people are ready for this? Like but I guess it's more
But
common
like
than I
with
thought. But
sicko mode for me with that particular song, it's still harmonically abrasive how it goes into the next section. It
yes it is.
still
Yeah.
feels it's like this could be two different songs. I don't know if I really fuck with this transition, but the
Okay.
song is what it is. Sicko mode.
Yeah.
But I love the way that how things a lot of the compositions on this record is segued one into another, and so do we want to do it like track by track kind of thing
Well,
or
you know, I like listened to it track by track and sort of like thought about things track by track. And then with these records, a lot of the time I'm like, yeah, let's do it track by track. But then we don't have to be so strict about it. But I
yeah,
like that as a thing to come back to because
for sure.
they are very different. And there's certain tracks where I'm like, wow, I feel really differently about this one. But okay,
Because we are having to also bring up hoteps.
yeah, we do have to.
It's not like it's mandatory, but
Yeah,
let's bring it all
goofy.
back
Okay,
together then.
goofy question, but like actually sincere question. I think for the
Mhm.
flow of the conversation, I would like to request a day pass for the N word, not hard R, but with the A. Dude, you're the guest, and you're the guest and the black guy, so you know it's obviously your call. But I'm like, I don't know. What do you? I mean,
For the
limited
sake
number,
of
or
for the sake of yourself, let's not do that. Um,
okay?
I can facilitate if need be.
Facilitate.
Show.
Yeah.
Um,
How about you say it and then I'll sample it and then I'll go back and edit this shit and just put it in and then we're dealing with like is N-word like ventriloquism a thing? Are you being exploited?
because anybody that's watching, I like this is kind of in somewhat of a loose response to me watching your Kanye video.
Yeah.
And you post and I liked a lot of the questions that you asked afterwards. You know, can like life not, you know, was it, if not non-black non-white people, then like what, any marginalized group can they identify as goy?
Yeah,
um
I didn't
you know,
actually mean that as a serious question. I was
I
just like,
know,
oh,
but
is
it's
it just
it's
like,
it's still just kind of like, I know it's one of those just jokey like ones, but it's just like, you know, I'm kind of interested. Like it's
well,
as heated as a thing like that can be, because people want to conflate things like that with one another. But like it's still like we're still in a position of marginalization, but
I
you
don't know. Like,
know what.
I don't actually think of Jews as a marginalized group. I mean, cancel me for that or whatever. It's just like I don't that word.
Well,
I just don't like historically, obviously, like brutally marginalized. But I just don't really like. So
I mean, yeah. As soon as they got integrated into whiteness, a lot of things definitely got
yeah,
alleviated.
it's quickly. I mean, it's like we're done with it. Like, I mean, but I mean, also, yeah. So I don't. I've never heard any Jew.
We are the real goys. What if that's what I'm saying? Like, what if
Right.
the hoteps? What if the hoteps took that and they really doubled down and just
Right,
like,
right,
and they
right.
like they took the Torah, went up in the synagogues and just went ham and said they were taking over shit. Like, I
Right,
mean, they're
right,
not going
yeah,
to do
right.
that.
We're the
So,
real Jews, but from your point of view, we're the real goy. Like, I don't even fucking know. Also, I don't think Jews say goy. Like, I don't think it like it's ever said in any kind of serious like thing of
no,
like those are the oppressors. It's more just like
none in
I
my
don't.
area, none that will even vaguely say something like that. Because
Yeah, yeah,
I even ask some of my homies, or I think about it even more often, because it's like, you know, a lot of people that I hung around that identify as Jewish. It's not that it's like an afterthought. It's just, I mean, what am I gonna say? You don't look Jewish, like you know,
yeah,
the
yeah.
transparency of that. What am I thinking of or asking about? I can think about like features and nationalities and whatever the hell, but I'm still not gonna like be like,
Yeah,
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 what do you like? Even
yeah.
saying, yeah, I was even talking about this to a homie the other day, where like saying Jew feels like saying light nigga, and I'm just like, ugh, like I just
I
you
don't
know,
know. Yeah, I don't know.
sometimes
Like,
it feels like it, like,
what you mean, like a person who's not Jewish saying calling someone a Jew, or you mean
oh,
people?
just like even just any time, just hearing it, like
Right,
it's
right.
just
I don't know, man. It's like yeah, I don't even Jewish. It's like it's almost more like philosophical for me. You know what I mean? It's like like what does anti-Semitism mean as some abstract concept? Like, you know what I mean? It's like it's not like some force like acting on you. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. But it's interesting. I mean, the Kanye thing. I mean, maybe we could talk about the Kanye thing in reference to the Kendrick. Has Kendrick weighed in? Not that everyone has to weigh in. He doesn't mention.
I'm glad he hasn't said shit. I'm kind of glad. Just be Kendrick. It's okay.
Right,
You don't
right,
have to
right,
say shit. Like, just
right. He's like we know they're annoying, but you don't have to say all that shit, you know. But like, okay, yeah, I don't know.
we know we're fighting against the Jew.
Right, right. I don't,
No, but no,
but
no. It's a big black capitalist cabal conspiracy.
I don't. Yeah, I don't even. Yeah, Kanye. I mean, the Kanye shit.
No.
I guess it's funny, but like, but yeah, Kendrick. I mean, okay, yeah. I mean, just the record musically, man. Just like talking about, like, I mean, yeah, just on a yeah, just on a straight aesthetic level like that. I hadn't. Was there anything else going on at that time that was even remotely like that? Because you were talking about, years before that, like the neo soul thing. You were talking about Erica Badu and et cetera, et cetera. D'Angelo,
Um.
and I like that music, but I don't know much of it, and I never really get going with it, and so I don't know. Like, was that a thing
Well,
in the
with
tens?
the
Like,
with the Ken, yeah. I mean, yeah, but it's just like on that level, like it was like it was like it was like the tens' version of what's the fucking record? Low End Theory,
okay.
but for the West Coast.
I see. All right. All right.
And like, because like Low End Theory had a lot of great aspects to it, a lot of great production, a lot like Shaheed Muhammad was doing production. They had people like Ron Carter on the cut and like
Yeah.
guests like Busta Rhymes and shit like that. And then for Kendrick record, you know, like it was just G-Funk revival, neo jazz, like, or not neo jazz, but like all this like jazz
Yeah. And
from new
like,
artists like Kamasi Washington. You had old dudes, not old dudes, but people that are veterans like Bilal and George Clinton on the first, like,
I know that's crazy. Yeah. I mean, it's really G-Funk, you know. Yeah.
and I think, was it like, didn't Clinton's like voice crack on that track too?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No,
it
totally.
still stuck that in. That is insane. Like
Yeah.
that's a they really came in hitting hard. Even like the intro to it where they had Boris Gardner's "Every Nigger Is a Star." Yeah, that's
Okay.
why you asked me, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's just all these lines that are like actually really important where you're like, you know,
Yeah,
like,
I feel
he says the N-word. It's like, you know, but yeah, I mean, like G-Funk, because that was like, yeah, when I was like 7th grade, all that, you know, Snoop, Dre, that was like the sound of because I'm just thinking about tens, like to me, like 2015, that's like really like this turning point and stuff. 2016 even more, just with the tens, which I refer to as the worst decade in human history, including the fucking bubonic plague, everything, like literally the worst. Like
I've heard a lot of your talks for sure on it.
Yeah.
I can understand the semblance.
But I kind of think of this record, it sort of struck me as this end of the early tens, because when I think of the early tens, it's like Tyler, you know, it's like,
oh man,
yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like merry prankster, devilish, impish, not political, skater, you
reactionary bullshit. We're just kids.
And then, you know, I mean, and like, I don't know, like hot girls getting into Burzum and shit like that. Like, you know what I mean? Just this kind of edgy, like early tens, like, you know, fuck politics, whatever type, you know, type of thing. And it's like Kendrick, like that 2015 was like, yeah, I mean, it was like To Pimp a Butterfly, Ta-Nehisi Coates. That was, I mean, whether he's cringe or not cringe or whatever.
I feel indifferent. I know where he's coming from, but it just kind of feels cringing to me in some parts, but whatever.
I think, yeah. I mean, he's a good, right? He's a great prose stylist, you know. But in any case, like, but it hit him that year. That was the year that book came out.
Fuck the D-Ray, like the D-Rays and shit like that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It was like all the like the three names guys, like Mark Lamont Hill, like Ta-Nehisi Coates. There's like a third guy with the three, you know what I mean?
The
like
three named wise men.
Yeah, there's a
proliferation. I don't know.
yeah. Who's the third guy? Yeah, I can't remember. But
there's probably a few in running, but yeah.
But yeah. I just
not Dr. Umar.
Oh yeah, he's like super hotepped out. I mean,
that's gonna come through eventually.
I mean, my favorite. I mean, yeah, my favorite is definitely Tariq Nasheed, and Hotep Jesus is just like the most.
Oh man,
like, you know,
Hotep,
but like, but that.
What about was it Derek Sotomayor?
Is that yeah, him? I don't know, but yeah.
He was like a YouTuber, like heavily misogynist, like just rhetoric. But yeah. Keep on going.
But just like 2015, like my memory of this was like laying on the floor of this apartment I lived in and like listening to this record and listening. Dude, it's cringe, I know, but listening to the Ta-Nehisi Coates book on tape and shit, or like audio book, but then also for the first time seeing like the alt-right online, like for the first time seeing the word white nationalist like written on a computer screen, like, you know what I mean, like the suit and tie racist shit and the Pepe shit. It was really like exactly the same time, you know what I mean? So it's like the 2015, like, I don't know, that's when shit started to,
that's when things definitely started to bubble more. I want to say by like 2015 is kind of when I like also was peering into more like lefty ideas and like politics like that and whatnot. What was I even doing by that? I think the only thing the biggest thing I remember doing in like 2015 was like a death metal tour with like but I was only helping on the tour. It was like for like Psychroptic was the headliner.
Where he would have been like 23 or something, or 20.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. I wasn't really like super invested into a lot of like geopolitical based things, but I was around a lot of people that eventually peered my interest into that kind of stuff. And then I saw like, okay, like, Marx and all the other stuff, and
Right,
eventually
right.
down the road. But
Yeah,
yeah, it was definitely
I was going the other way, but we don't need to go there.
you're like, what's the write up to these days?
Yeah. I was like, yeah. But yeah, like the record. I mean, we could go track by track, or
Yeah. I mean, it's
yeah, yeah.
not a bad thing.
Should we dig into it? Because some of these are just so like, well, there's a very unified aesthetic with a couple little standouts, you know. Um, I mean, yeah, just one theme. Like I know it's just like, that poem he keeps reading. Like like I remember you was conflicted. Like I mean this conflict, inner conflict to me seems like just so central to this. Like because it's such a personal record. Any of the political stuff, it's always rooted in like his like feelings. Like
Yeah,
it's not like
it's and that's also another thing that that I was kind of interested at some point, kind of, if not briefly touching on or whatever, but like double consciousness. And I like you listen to the interviews that he did around this time, or even things that are after, but definitely around the time of this album, and he consistently expresses that notion, like how, and especially throughout this album, like external, internal, it is so transparent how he makes it. There's some ways he can be esoteric about it, but I think it's enough to be laid out on paper, especially if you do a little bit of digging and you're just like, oh yeah, this is definitely like what he's going through, what the hood's going through, what his peoples is going through. Like everybody is dying in real time, but it's he cares. Of course he does. He cares enough to make this album. He cares enough to get the people that he knew to take a picture, hyperimpose them on the White House, and that be the album cover, because he wants to bring people out from those kind of places, and those low socioeconomic and based environments, and at least give them a sense of luxury, or at least a sense of culture to see the world, because they never get to see the world.
Yeah, it's funny when I looked at that album cover for the first time in so long, and I hadn't noticed there's like one white guy with X's in his eyes. And I remember when I finally noticed that, I was like, bro, fuck you, dude. Like give me a fucking break. You know what I mean? Because I'm really
I feel
like I've been getting more and more annoyed by anti-white shit. But then I saw he's got a gavel. And he's like a judge, so I'm like,
it's a political semblance instead of just. I mean, it's that by default. I would assume. What are you gonna get, like a Clarence Thomas and like,
right? I'm like he can go. He's a judge. Like he can. Sorry, you can take him.
I can understand the prejudice why you would put a person like that, especially if you got a bunch of like dudes in the hood or whatever.
Well, the thing is, I've gotten the reason I've gotten more and more annoyed by anti-white shit is because it feels less and less sincere, like in media, like you know what I'm saying? Because it's like really... I always use the barbershop example. Like if I walk into a barbershop on like 158th Street and someone's like white people, and there's like record scratch, I'm like, well, this is where that's for. I mean, this is that's where that idea is. But you know what I mean? Like, I believe you. But then it's like now, if it's just like, dear white people, I'm like, you don't even like, you know what I mean? It's like fucking like BuzzFeed is paying you to say that shit. I don't even feel it. So it's like,
that shit can be a little bit too lazy for me, or I'm not gonna follow along with those a lot. I don't agree with what a lot of those people can say, because a lot of it can just be kind of a little too discourseful. But
discourseful. Okay, like you mean like, do you mean like not personal enough and too much like regurgitating takes and shit like that?
Yeah, like just on some like an Instagram type of Instagram what's the fucking thing? Like a IG,
like a reel or story or whatever.
No, like an Instagram like fucking it shows like statistics and like all these things, like how to help POC.
Yeah.
Like infograph kind of things. Like it kind of reminds you of that kind of shit.
Yeah. No, totally. Yeah. So, but yeah, the anti-white cover, but
yeah, infographic. Yeah, Cameron got it. Infographic. Yeah.
Yeah. But oh yeah, there you go. Um but yeah, this conflictedness is like, this is, on the politics level. I mean, this, like, the sort of racial attitudes or whatever. Like, you hear him say stuff on this record that are kind of considered, like, some stuff that's considered like conservative takes. I mean,
Yeah, I
I
was gonna
don't.
say, what do you
Well,
like? I mean,
I
we can
was
go track by track, but even then, like, if there's any,
well.
yeah,
I don't. I mean, I don't actually think that the word conservative necessarily should apply to this stuff. And especially, I'm older. Like, these didn't used to be conservative talking points, but they are now.
because
Kind of
because a
like,
lot of it can also be traditionalists, especially when it comes to
true.
from black community standards or whatever the fuck.
I mean, all I'm talking about conservative is like literally just addressing, like, this phrase. You don't like it. I don't like it. But, black on black crime, quote unquote. But
Yeah.
like, I'm saying, like, the main, like, kind of simple-minded but like deep, getting at deep shit that you see on the internet in just two fucking midwits, having it out in a comment thread. It'll be like, police brutality is the biggest threat to black life. Someone comes in, usually white, will be like, but you guys kill each other more. And then it's
Were
like,
you
that's
feeling
none.
that on Black of the Berry?
Oh, big time. But this is
Yeah.
what but like, see, to
See,
me,
that's where also I got the Hotep vibe from as well.
a
But
little
it's
bit.
not
Yeah. Yeah.
necessarily that it. In the end, I didn't really feel exactly it was Hotep. I just felt like a lot of those like talking points were already debunked, and I didn't really kind of feel like I was about to say Kanye,
Right.
Kendrick. I didn't feel like Kendrick needed to reiterate that, even though I understood that track was from an angry perspective of his, especially when it just came to like this is what he sees every single day.
Yeah.
This is the thoughts that are rattling in his head because he's seeing his own people do it. He doesn't necessarily have the means, the access, and the education to be like, oh, it's because of these capitalistic systems doing whatever. Like he expresses those sentiments at times throughout the album too. How much like how he sees himself in a capitalistic lens as well, or whatever his commodifications in his position and his influence. He mentions influence
Yes.
consistently throughout it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and how much of his likeliness he wants to transcend that back into the hood and all the positive notions of it. But
Yeah.
he comes up, even as much as positivity he wants to put into it, it does, as you said, come off with some like really weird like self-hatred ish kind of like
Well,
vibe to a degree with like a little
he
conservative values
well,
and like
see, when I say conservative, I actually, like, don't, like, mean that. To me, that's not inherently a bad thing, man. You know what I mean? But at
it's
least,
like he's not Thomas Sowell. I'll say that.
I mean,
It can sort of sound like it, but I don't think it's.
yeah. No. I mean, Thomas Sowell is, like, only talking about that one side of things. I guess what I'm saying is, like, when I used to hear, like, growing up, right, like Chuck D, right, or like people like that, it would be like they would talk the same way Kendrick, because they would talk about racism and violence within black communities as though it's all part of one thing. They wouldn't. It wasn't like some
Oh
well
yeah,
actual.
we're
It wasn't like some well actually thing of like, oh, racism doesn't exist. You're doing it to yourself. Like, it wasn't like that. It was all part of some just dealing with black issues. And so, you know what I mean?
like
Like,
yeah, I think especially with optics like that, yeah, it is cringy.
you think so? Okay,
Yes,
yeah.
for sure. Yeah, for sure. I still feel it. Like it's just as soon as the instrumental after the Black of the Berry comes in, I'm just like, ooh, chill.
Oh my god, yeah. I
But
mean, that is like, yeah, dude. It's so hard. It's
it's
like,
so hard.
it's
That
like
beat is
industrial.
so fucking hard.
It's like industrial shit. That's like a way different song on that record. But just like him saying, like, I'm the biggest hypocrite of, like, he opens with like, I'm
I
a
think
hypocrite. Like, I mean, do you
I
consider that self hatred or just like
I
deep
thought that
self awareness?
at this point I thought it was self awareness because as I said, it's one of those things I did a double take on. I was like, you know what? Maybe he has the self awareness of like these are the questions that Black people always put themselves through, but we just never. Not that we never like fuck that. We always have
Right.
the answers. We've been had the answers. Like we understand the socioeconomic implications of what we're being put through and put in, and whether we lack the resources on that kind of level, or even when it comes to economics or education, as much as that has been very castrated from a lot of those communities in so many ways, more than one, that I think maybe at this point I felt like it was like his, as I said, his self-awareness of a lot of those the quagmire that we sometimes find ourselves in, and keep on asking these same questions as if it's going to get anything better, especially when we're talking about like in reflection to our oppressors or even white supremacy. Like and I hope people recognize it as supremacy, or if not white supremacy, some form of it or something. But like, if we're gonna continue to be on this whole like, oh, it's the Illuminati or some shit, then like it ain't gonna,
Well,
it ain't gonna.
yeah, sure. No, totally. But I mean, like, I guess, like, with that self awareness or him calling himself a hypocrite, I mean, there is this sort of like some of the stuff that he talks about, and that, like, thinking about someone like Chuck D or like whatever, like these sort of older, like, just like rap people, part of the tradition that were like seriously political. Like, there's a lot of talk about like being like enslaved in your mind, like this psychological thing of like these like forces from outside like fucking you up like inside,
Spirituality, yeah, it's spiritual
yeah. and
semblances
and
and shit,
so and
yeah.
so it's like, so I guess
Third eye shit.
right. No, like what I mean more is like no, like I don't mean like the mystical side. I mean more like
It does peer into the Hotep stuff, but
oh no, he does. But just on the topic of like conservative so-called talking points, or like, I guess you would call it like respectability politics, pull up your pants type, like grandpa, like what y'all need to do is pull up your, like that kind of shit. Like when he at the end of that song, he's like, as much as I'd like to do this and this and this and like, all this, like a lot of pride, like black pride stuff, he's like, I'd still kill and blacker than me, hypocrite. It's like, I get this vibe like he's getting out in front of like white people saying it. He's like, you don't have to say that shit because I'm taking care of that kind of thing.
yeah.
And I get the impression that he's kind of on this vibe of like he's like, it sounds like he's saying like, I would do that, I would kill one of my own people because like these forces of supremacy,
Um,
etc., have like fucked me up or something. Like, isn't that, he says, I don't want to be another slave in my head or whatever. I mean, do you interpret it that way or not so much?
I just kind of interpret it in a way of like, especially like, let's see, let me kind of like pop up some lyrics real quick, if you don't mind, just so I can
No,
have
do it.
a
Yeah.
reference.
Yeah.
Um, so that's like Black of the Berry.
Yeah.
A lot of it, like, I don't know. I feel like, as I said, it's just I kind of maybe just, as I said, fall back to that self awareness at this point. 'Cause at one point, I thought it was really hotepy and cringy,
Uh-huh.
and just like didn't really like take much more of it at value to what he was exactly saying, because it was just like in the end he let off with that line of like, um, why did I kill a nigga blacker than me? And I kind of was like, like we can easily figure this, like debunk this. But as I said, I think when I listened to the interviews that he was talking about, because he is talking from life experience and other people's perspectives. And I think he probably has been exposed to that so much, especially if you're talking about growing up in Compton
Right.
and like,
Right.
like Crenshaw, all that shit, like the shit that probably was going down. Like some people I talked to that lived in those areas, like some will tell you like don't believe the hype about like the all the violence that was going on. Some people will be like, yeah, I grew up almost every day, even still to this day, seeing my homies get gunned down. And I, fortunately enough, I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. I did not grow up, fortunately, with that kind of stuff or that kind of conflict around me.
Yeah. I like
Um,
Charleston. Yeah.
yeah, Charleston is that's a talk for another time. But he's a product of his environment. He's very, very aware of that. His albums consistently bring that up, and I think the older he gets, the more he spreads out his that awareness, because now he's having the access to go to places like countries in Africa,
Yep.
and be in a whole nother echelon of society. He is aware of that full times. He's not dumb. He's very
Yeah.
far from it, obviously.
Yeah.
But some of the things, maybe some of the ways he just presents things can be a little trad for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Little
yeah,
conservative. Maybe it just sounds like the same old questions that, as I said before, that have been debunked or enough that it's just like, we don't have to. Yeah, like the homie in the comment knows what I'm talking about. Like Watts, the Watts riots. Like, grow up
yeah,
and
yeah.
down, shit.
No, it's insane.
Like
It's
seeing
crazy.
like
Yeah,
Korean people get gunned down all because of racist shit or people's
yeah,
prejudices and stuff. Yeah, it
yeah,
might.
yeah.
And
I mean,
then doing the thing, like
I
yeah,
mean,
you probably would believe in a race war. Some people
I
would.
guess, yeah. I mean, no, but I actually conservative though. In this case, I wouldn't even mean any kind of thing of like let's conserve things, keep them the same. Like, you know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
just
no,
another
it's
thing.
it's
I
more
mean,
more traditionalist with that being
well,
said because it still has its own like there is still definitely like let's say Christian values in this record.
yes, yes,
There's
yeah,
still very much Afrocentric values, very much Afrocentric values.
yeah,
But as I said before, this album is like the low end theory of this modern time because I like with low end theory had a lot of themes of like black men growing up in the 90s, like what's the hot thing, what's the new thing, what is social life like, what is dating life like, what is technology for black people, what is black people in the future. So it appears in Afrofuturist concepts for a little
yeah,
brief moment, and it had a lot of those like elements peer into that and
yeah, yeah.
came into To Pimp a Butterfly plus more.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, actually, the shit I'm talking about is more like that personal responsibility, quote unquote shit. Like in that song, like shit don't change until you wash your ass. Like
Mhm.
that's
Oh, institutionalized.
yeah, like that line. That's Jordan Peterson. Like that's black Jordan Peterson. Like literally, like no, like that's
No,
like
for real though. I feel you. No, for sure. I
that's
feel
like
you.
that's like
But
clean your
like,
room. That's clean your room stuff. And just to me, it's like interesting because that's the kind of thing. I just would say like that's the kind of thing that I would never say that to
yeah, I
a
mean,
black person, but I could
we can
imagine a
say
black.
we can.
But I could imagine, well, just because I don't know what it would mean to like wash your ass and growing up in the ghetto, I don't know what the fuck.
I
But
mean,
I'm saying
it's just
if you're a grandma, like that's something that you might say to your grandkid, like you know what I mean? It's just
but
like
is that necessarily gonna? You don't have to put it in a Jordan Peterson semblance, but it's just a necessarily like a. It's just hey, organize your shit, clean your shit up, like pick yourself up. Like you may not have a lot, but you have a lot. Just organize your shit and make sure you are well kept because it's not necessarily a respectability thing, but it's like it can be for show. It
yeah,
it's not that it ain't, but like, and the whole shit don't change until you wash your ass. Like it's like the idea of growth and progress, and like if you don't cognizantly do what you want to do, then obviously you're gonna find yourself in the same things every single day. Um, and if you do not, especially as I said, if you grew up in like Compton and you got the worst side of it, then you can only imagine seeing all the homeless people and the bums and poppers that they look at and they ignore, and how they get thrown off in society, and how other people propel, or how other people get sucked into one thing or just anything, just
yeah,
like
yeah.
living in those environments just already kind of makes you so streamlined, hopefully towards a goal, especially if you are dealing with a lot of other bullshit. But
Yeah, I mean that's part of it. Seems like this
like
conflict for him is like he's talking about how he hustled and made it out, but then he's got that song about how he like didn't give a homeless guy money because he was like
how much a dollar
how much
costs.
a dollar costs, and like the whole vibe of that was he was just like I worked for my money, you should bootstrap it. I'm not going to give you a handout. But then he looks back and he like regrets doing that, and
A
he talks about
lot of
like survivor's guilt a lot, like you know what I mean? These
yeah,
things
yeah,
of
no,
like
for
like
sure. It is very. This record has a lot of survivor's guilt. He explains that in his interviews actually a lot. Like
yeah,
that that sentiment is like just riddled through this record.
yeah,
And with that being said, songs like that, a lot of these songs are very conversational.
yes,
They're
yes,
very laid out in a conversational piece structure all the way towards the end. I love that for the concept of it.
yeah,
Um, um, it gets into like a lot of first person, third person, like
yeah.
a lot of weird, just like juxtapositions that are just great, and it's
Yeah.
pictorial at some point.
Yeah. It's part
Like
of the
it's almost
density.
yeah, like it's kind of like I mean, his later material definitely expresses that for sure, but like definitely it's like there's not a lot there's hip hop records that do that for sure, but on that level, very cerebral, almost as
Yeah.
cerebral as like the first few times I got into the first Mars Volta record or a Rush
Mm.
record. It's like
Mm.
I can picture these images in my head of just the
Okay.
shit going down
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like niggas is dying and crying and all this and this other shit in the streets. And sure, you had other rap groups like NWA saying the same thing that's going in those areas, but with Kendrick, it's just it's okay to have different perspective and optics towards it, even if it might have the same shit.
Right, right. That's, I mean, like line by line, there'll be these conflicting like positions and stuff. I think like that conversational vibe, really, you can hear it in the aesthetic of the music and the beats too, because it's like coming.
Very
It's
humiliative.
it's got like it's like dense, but there's a looseness, not in the sense of sloppy, but like things kind of licks coming in and out, and like it's not like I don't know, like 2010s like trap shit is like so tight. Like it's just like you know what I mean? It's like very. I mean, maybe the flow isn't tight. It isn't. Maybe the flow will be looser, but like the production is just like this, like like minimalist kind of like hard cold kind of thing, where this is just warm. It's like warm, and there's like waves of shit happening and things that only happen
Yeah,
one things that only happen one time. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah,
really.
like it's as I said, it's a call. It's a call to like all those kind of R&B records growing up and from the 90s and shit, like the first Erica record, D'Angelo records are like that. Just all these people just gathered in a session, just jamming. You get the best takes of whatever those sessions, and then you put it in the thing. Everybody still does this. It's like
Yeah.
it's sample. It's fucking sampling. Flylo. This is how Flylo records get done. Like he just gets Thundercat and whoever the fuck are the session musicians, like Dennis Ham, all those people in a room, record the best bits, chop it up. That's how my band does it. I'm in a band called Crispin Wah, and that's how we do it. We sample our own guitar playing and then do other more shit on top of that. And
Okay.
it's fucking cool. Like
I got to check
everybody.
out Crispin Wah. I have to admit, I'm not up to speed.
Oh,
I'm
you're
not up to
fine. You're
speed.
totally
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
no.
mean, I actually only know your musicianship from your just like amazing just videos online of just you shredding on different stuff, which I know that's not your art, like your actual art. It's like just
Yeah.
it's just chops. But like I know your I mean, by the way, this is side thing. We'll come back to the sociopolitical shit, but just on Blacker the Berry, that who is that dance hall sounding Jamaican singer guy? Do you know who that like
Who the fuck is that? That's a good
because
question.
that I don't know that much about that music, but that his time and phrasing on that is like it's the most like it's crazy. Like I don't, but I know that style of music has a lot of that. A lot of like there's this time like jagged but also fluid, like just like yeah, like it's just like the landing behind and the top of the beat and the elasticity is. I mean, it's like jazz master level stuff. It's just but it's a type of music I don't know that that much about. Anyway, yeah, I don't know that's
Assassin.
yeah, it just makes it so hard. Like he's just so aggressive too, like
Yeah, well, the
yeah,
guy's name is Assassin. I'm not familiar with him,
yeah.
but good to know.
Something to check out. I also love how on different tracks, I mean, a lot of rappers do this, but just how he does it is just having a very deliberately different voice, like actually doing a voice, not to an absurd level, but just making your voice a little flintier and high. Another one, it's a little more gruff, like just
Yeah,
modulating his voice for different. I mean, he does that. Like it's just really.
he did that on what's the song? Is it For Sale? Yeah, For Sale. He's like talking about Lucy and like
Oh, boo boo.
all Tim. Well, there's that song. That's hood. Was that? I think that's Hood Politics.
Hood politics. Yeah, yeah.
But For Sale, when he's like talking about temptation and like what his fame has gotten him and all the capital and like and how temptation is the devil and how Lucy will give you all these things but still leave you high and dry. I always see so Lucy's like Lucifer or whatever. But
Yeah.
um, but yeah, he does those kind of like things, and I'm like, that's like that rappers. Like it's kind of like Danny Brown when he raps. Like his normal
Yes.
voice is his normal voice, but Danny Brown's like ah, da, 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 da.
Yeah. No, it's so good, man. That's
MC
yeah.
Ride is the same thing. Like
Dude, what happened? I mean, whatever. They were bound to stop doing stuff, but I'm like,
they just
what?
announced a tour. Did you see that?
Oh, did they? Dude, I didn't even
Yeah, so
know.
that
Yeah,
means
yeah,
that
yeah.
has to be a new album, and we just got new visuals, so they have to have
Yeah.
more material. So
Dude,
yeah, they probably
I don't understand why Death Grips kind of got cast as like normie to that like Fantano-ish. Like why are they like cuz that dude's like lyrics are like some of my favorite lyrics of any style of music for the past
yeah.
10 years. Like he's
It
like incredible. Why it's considered just stuff for kids or something. Why?
I the first time I heard Death Grips, I thought it was like a fucking like schizophrenic white hobo dude from the streets that they got,
Right,
and it's
right.
like no, this is a black guy from Atlanta
Oh,
because
he's an Atlanta guy?
I think yeah, like oh yeah, I think he's from Atlanta because like he did if you can look up some of his old material like way back in the day when he had like hair and like doing other weirdo rap shit. Like it was experimental, but obviously Death Grips is his own thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that what a time. What a
Dude,
beautiful
yeah, no, that's it's so hard. But see, not a political. Well, unless you go like really
there's a
want to
you know
analyze. There's threads, but it is mostly like art school dudes like on PCP, right? I mean, that's kind of more like
yeah with
the like.
with like political talks for sure. I mean, like was it the first album was talking about like police brutality and shit like that.
Oh yeah. Ex-military is
Yeah,
that the
yeah.
one? Yeah. Actually, yeah. Um, but it's funny. Like there's what I think it's Hood Politics. The intro, like one of the first lines is like, "I don't give a fuck about politics and rap." Right? Isn't that? So,
Yeah,
so
I
which
mean, I think that's kind of I feel like that's a like a light thing in a sense, but like
like I was just thinking like recently how like bands and artists that say that they're not political, it's like always the most political artists are just like we're not a political band, we just describe what's around us. It's like I've heard like Sleaford Mods say that,
yeah, I
Show Me the
maybe
Body has said that. It's like you guys literally are like the most political thing ever, you know.
well, I think maybe that's I think it's more or less like just like the politics of the scene itself because like
Okay. Yeah.
he doesn't like involve himself in other people's business or beef like
So politics in
yeah,
that sense, right? The other meaning of the word.
yeah,
Yeah.
like maybe I think I would feel like it's more or less that because he still obviously puts himself in a lot of things. Like he did the fucking Black Panther soundtrack. So
Okay, yeah. So no, that I didn't actually think of that meaning of politics, right? Politics as in office politics, like I stay out
yeah,
of
like I don't
politics,
think he
right?
tries to involve himself with other people's bullshit. That kind of stands more or less true to this day. I feel more or less. I really do not see Kendrick in the midst of other people's controversies. Maybe like
True.
maybe people's thoughts on the ground, but nothing that's like, oh, I'm gonna like say something about what Kanye said, or like, oh, Pusha T just said something. I gotta talk up. Like,
I
nah, like
think, yeah,
he has a bag to secure. Like,
you maintain a certain, you
rapport.
protect yourself from bullshit if you kind of leave, you know.
Yeah, like he's
Leave.
got his own thing. He's got too much shit to deal with, like hood politics. Yeah, he's got hood politics. Not to like joke about it like that, but like he's got a lot of shit to deal with between himself and at home. Like he's like after a tour, he goes to a funeral, and it's not be it's people that he knows that are still having to deal with the everyday bullshit and monotony. And he, as I said, he rather kind of just build his community, I feel, and kind of work on that instead of having to consistently project about that.
Right,
Which
right.
some people want to, some people are like 6ix9ine and have to film themselves giving out money to the homeless, and then maybe some of the people are like
Yeah.
Kendrick, who are just trying to like, if not use their influence in some way or fashion to hopefully eventually maybe change what's it called, legislation on certain things.
Yeah.
Even if you are just a musician or an entertainer to some people, it's still like
Mhm.
you have your influence.
Yeah. The homecoming, it seems like a recurring theme on this. You know, he's talking about like coming home, and on that track Mama, I think he's
Mhm.
talking about, until I came home, or that's in the poem, until I came home. Um, there, yeah. Uh, so yeah, I mean that's kind of, yeah, what you're talking about, coming back from a tour to a funeral, or
Or
that's
taking a trip back to Africa, you know?
okay. Okay, did
Like
not think about this.
going to other African nations and seeing how people live in those places. He has the money to do that. I've had a privilege and chance to do that, and it's not. I mean, the last time I did it was like 2019, and I'm grown enough to, you know, have a better sense of like geopolitics and socio-political things and economics and other things like that. And
Hmm.
my mom lives in Ghana in Accra, outside 30 minutes outside of the from the capital. She lives in like the Aburi Mountains because they own like a guest house kind of like lodge as well. And what's it called? Like seeing those areas, especially like after a long period of time that I haven't been in those kind of places. Um, because the last time I even traveled to Ghana was like 2019 prior to that trip, or 2009, my bad. Um, and then coming back and seeing how much has changed for better or for worse, it just will make you. It'll put you in a consistent state of just like despair for just seeing how much just like politics and capitalism has ruined these people's lives. I mean, not, politics could obviously be better, especially if things were socialized, but that's not going to be the case for a lot of these people. So they're having to deal with their government's parliaments and any other social repercussions from there. Like,
Okay, you're talking about
it,
since 2019 is really, it's just
I
that
mean,
you
it's
think.
continuous. I mean, it's for any African nation that has to deal with this, like, has to be under the scrutiny of like of low socioeconomic development as a country or as any individual, whatever place, or being withheld from resources to even have any kind of like growth amongst those areas, to like be even allowed to have access towards wealth. Um, because as much as I can complain about capitalism about over here, it's a different game over there. And I obviously have to respect, if not those people's autonomy, then hopefully the some kind of deterministic aspects of it. But even then, it's just still like a
Yeah,
tough game
yeah.
to evaluate.
This is, yeah. This is somewhat, quite a bit out of my wheelhouse, I guess you could say. But
Yes, yeah.
but no, that's it. I mean, Kendrick doesn't. Well, he doesn't get that African. I mean, yeah. What are the? Okay, so yeah, that's a segue, I think, maybe into like
The hoteps.
Hotep. Well, it's funny though, because you were like initially like, dude, we got to talk about Hoteps, and
Yeah,
like,
hoteps are funny though.
I
That's the thing. It's like tying this with hoteps. It's like there's so much dense shit on this record. It's serious. It's informative. It's a great record. It has its hotepery. It's not super deep, unlike a lot of
yeah.
other hotep records, but it does have its little
I mean,
sprinkles.
it's not Liquid Swords. Let's just say that. I mean, which
Oh
is just,
God, no.
that's just like Farrakhan and shit. But I actually appreciate. I actually kind of, dude, best Wu Tang line on that record. Uh, that song, like the God. I can't. He opens it with, "I'm not caught up in politics. I'm no black activist on a so-called scholar's dick." I just thought that's just
Yo,
like
yeah.
the craziest way to start a rap out. Anyway,
He's like, don't source me for the bullshit like that. Like, I'm not the one. I'm talking
yeah,
about like the universe and other theory and shit. Don't come for
yeah,
me.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
go
yeah.
to some other nigga for that type of shit. If you want to talk about that type of shit, go to Sister Soldier.
Right, right, right.
And she got. And we talking about all those kind of people in the '90s. She's the one that really went ham, and like, but she got like pushed out because I felt like that people just wasn't really like fucking with her like that.
Is she cool? I've always thought she was kind of
She's pretty like
like
I would
dumb. Like
say
I thought she's kind of like, you know.
Sister Soldier.
Yeah, or is she actually kind of?
I
I
would
mean, from
she
your
I
point of view,
think
yeah.
I would just say she just has some like it's pretty radical enough politics, but like like she, I don't think she's dumb. Just a
Like
little wildin'.
there's something in there. Okay, yeah,
That's about
totally,
it.
yeah.
She
Yeah.
wildin'. She
All
wildin' as
right,
fuck.
all right. Well, so as yeah, like hotepery, man. I mean, the only thing that I really like really heard hotep wise on this is that track is that thing where it breaks and he's like Negus like
The
like
Negus
yeah, and he's talking about
line.
Egyptian. I mean, I think he
Yeah,
literally
that is like no, it's a reclamation line.
dude, I think he actually says "we was Kangs" on it. Like, I'm not sure if like he might
Yeah,
actually like
yeah.
he like and I didn't get it. Like, I didn't I it seemed hotepish, but I like couldn't pick out what his I don't know. Like, what do you think of that? Like, what's I just got the generally like
Yeah,
clear
like I
hotep
mean
vibe,
the
but
whole like okay, so like for anybody that's like doesn't know what a hotep is or
yeah,
whatever the
explain.
fuck,
Let's do this. Yeah,
for me, hoteps is just like pro Afrocentric, but then like you come in with all this white supremacist rhetoric, and then you just like derail your shit, and and then it comes with a lot of other sentiments. But that's kind of mainly the gist of what people when people say hotep, it's like, oh, you cool with black people, but you ain't cool with this kind of black person. So like, because hoteps do be saying like homophobic shit, transphobic shit, prejudices out the ass. They can say
sure.
some like bootstrap ass shit. They can apply a lot of things that white supremacist rhetoric has already established, and then they just usurp it. That's
Well,
pretty much the gist of a lot of
well,
hoteps.
yeah. I mean, it's just super separatist. I mean, it's sort of
Yeah,
like
yeah, very.
yeah,
They get so, well. Some are separatist, like let's say like Nation of Islam kind of motherfuckers. Like,
yeah.
but like even like some of those people,
But
like
there's also I mean, they're very into Egypt. I mean, there's this kind of fantasy that they're
ancient Kemet.
Egyptians and they're not
Ancient Kemet is
Egyptians.
what. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
ancient Kemet, I believe.
Right, right,
Are you
right.
familiar with that? Like,
I've heard hoteps talk about Kemet and non
yeah,
hoteps actually.
Kemites, Kemites and shit like that.
Okay.
Yakub is
I know about Yakub. Yeah. That's yeah.
that's a good one. I love that. The Yakub lore is
Yeah. Well, I mean, like,
white people were made from the left evil rib of a fucking like
the thing
mass.
is, I mean, the thing is to say if you say white people were like created by a mad scientist to be like this evil like ice demon and shit, like if you're like a white supremacist, like that's kind of like you might like, yeah, cool, sick. Like
Yeah, I
you know what
mean,
I mean? You're like, yeah,
Mormons.
I'm a
Hey,
villain. Like I'm coming to get you.
Mormons
You know?
think that black people are like some like evil fuck shit type of human deformative type of derivative or something. So then dark skin is bad, but so black people are it's like it's just its own lore within that type of community, it's like or
Yeah.
within that type of religious structure and shit. And it's just like, oh, y'all, like it's wild. It really is.
But I mean, they're also really into like UFOs and shit like that, right? I mean, they're like, right? Isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, like space, not necessarily like space, but like um, I like there is like, like some weird sciences, like I was this one person told me they met some hotep on a train that was talking about, or no, his coworker was like a hotep or some shit like that, and they believed in like heliocentrism, and it's like like old sciences. They believe in old sciences a lot of the times. Like
Right.
old timey things to kind of just like apply to new contemporary standards as opposed to like new sciences, because it's just like we still believe in golden ratios and like
Right.
and like what's the word synchronicity and shit like that. There's like
Yeah.
signs and
Well,
meanings
that's cool. Yeah. To me, like the most hotep shit is when you're like obsessed with like puns and like wordplay as though it's
yo
like and like
Illuminati.
yeah, like and acronyms, like like acronyms. It
Yo,
always has
yeah,
this. It always has this vibe of like, see, like look at this,
yeah.
see, like it's like
You were conforming the whole time.
yeah,
Like,
right.
you were enslaved in the matrix the whole time, which it's
Yeah.
just like that shit is like they believe in this cerebral ass shit, like all these onk motherfuckers and stuff like that. Like, yo, like it's funny.
Element, yeah, Sun Ra, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the chat. Brother Brown, that's one of the members of my band, Crispin Wah. And he'll because I don't really get to see a lot of like hoteps and like Israelites, because I mean there are whoever like that in the community in Atlanta for sure, and they do their thing wherever, but I just don't go out like that. But there's one particular time I remember being around because it was just a funny situation. I went to go to my drummer was having the drummer of the Crispin Wah was having a wedding, and we had to go to like Columbus, Georgia, or something like that. And it was just like in this like we were just like some fucking courtyard in some hotel in the middle of town type of thing. Wasn't really much going on. Wasn't a bunch of shit like going down. It was a nice day, but like just the wedding was in a different little section. And like we go to the street and there's these fucking like black Israelites decked out in their Mortal Kombat garbs and shit. And like the big takeaway is that the area they were standing near smelled like straight piss. Like the worst. I never like it reeked. I couldn't understand why they would stand in this area just to have this bullshit ass whatever sermon. They're filming themselves and shit. But it's like, yo, you're in a PP ass spot. Like it's not like the camera can smell it, but son, like
right.
better.
It's not good. It's not good propaganda.
It's
yeah,
not.
it's not.
Propaganda.
It's yeah.
Your marketing is really going to the toilet right
well,
here.
Well, dude, the best Hotep marketing has got to be Wu-Tang, because
honestly,
I mean,
it is.
they make it. I mean, they make it on some black metal shit, almost of just like this hyper elitist, because they're not just like Hoteps. They're like 5%ers? They're 5%ers, right?
Yeah. They're
so like
some fucking masonry ish.
Yeah. Like they're not even like black supremacists. They're just like a tiny segment of black people are the elite, and everyone else can go fuck themselves. Like it's very elitist,
black
but
alchemist.
Yeah, alchemy and shit. Make it. They make it, especially Jizzle. Like some of that when I just don't know what the hell he's talking about, and it's just this onslaught of like hotepery,
weirdo dynasty ass shit. Like because we don't have to talk exactly about this, but you told me the story about the guy's house that you went to, and it had like the cult, weird incest cult.
Oh my god. No, we can talk about that.
Yeah.
Dude,
that can go into hotepery. That goes into that House of Nubian shit. All them motherfuckers, like you hear like all the weird shit, like I don't know. It's
dude, that is like that's some of the most fucked up stuff I've like been in physical proximity to, like knowing that. I mean, I could tell without going too far. I could tell a story. I mean,
polygamy and shit.
I mean, basically, this was like I was 17. This friend of mine, his mom is like the seriously, mentally ill woman. The dad had custody. It's like, enough said. And like and yeah, his mom had this hookup. She was like, "Yeah, I can break you into the music business. I know this guy. He's worked with the Fugees. He wants to put together a project." Takes us out to Jersey, huge mansion. This guy's name is Aswad, and he like directed the Fugees video and has done all like production stuff. It's this ridiculous thing he's trying to do. Like the project was just so misled. It was like whatever. But yeah, like he's got at his house, at his mansion, he's got these servant women who are like these banging hot, like black women, just like scantily wearing almost nothing, literally just bringing us like grapes and shit. Like it's just some ancient like dynastic.
Like wearing like loincloths and then like have maybe like some kind of like upper garment but the titties are hanging out kind of thing.
Yes, like beyond side boob, like almost like the whole thing.
Cloth kind of thing, maybe.
All of that shit. And it's like and there's just like tons of these women there like bringing us stuff and like not saying anything and like only speaking when spoken to, that vibe. And then like 20 years later it comes out that this dude Aswad had an incest cult, and that these women were his incest children with this like whatever it is, his grandkids that are also his. I mean, like sick. And I mean, he's like doing prison time for this shit now. He's like an incest cult guy. I mean,
so
yeah.
And that nigga to the shadow realm. Like
that. Prison criticism of prison aside, someone's got to be fucking kept out of society. So let it be that guy, right? Anyway, yeah, that's the closest I got to Hotep stuff. He didn't go off on any cool mystical stuff, like so. We didn't really. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know, but
you
that
weren't
yeah.
like in like the whole like you didn't get to have to deal with all that like.
I wish I had. I wish I had. I don't know,
I
but
mean, you're the Jewish kid that's hanging out
yeah,
at the Hotep house. They're not gonna see unless you wanted to like take the initiative to go into that kind of studies yourself, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, come into the ranks, young one." But then
right, right.
they're only it's like white supremacists that go up to fucking other white people, and they're like, "Oh yeah, so about da 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 da," and they expect a response, and if they respond in like that fashion that they want them to, then they're just gonna feed them supremacy rhetoric. But hopefully most of the people that I know, especially the white people that have any racists, go up to them and be like, "So how do you feel about this, that, and the third?" They're gonna just be like, "You're not. I'm not
Yeah.
the right person for
Well,
this."
I always yeah, I mean, despite whatever flirtation I've done with like right wing reactionary shit, it's definitely I definitely defer to this thing. Yeah, it's like white nationalists and shit. They like brush up against you like a dirty shower curtain. That's always like my metaphor. You're like trying to, and it's like they're just coming up, and you're like, bro, no, that's not what I said. You know what I
Oh
mean? It's like,
shit, son. It's okay. So motherfucking my brother Brown is in the chat telling asking me about this because somebody well, I don't know Poe WH, I don't know who that.
Paul Ice. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, somebody in the chat actually, because they put Umar Johnson. If you know about Dr. Umar, um, Dr. Umar's wildin'. But this other dude that me and Brother Brown used to work with, his name's Paul. He's this prep guy that would always would play like this like black propaganda kind of like rhetoric off of YouTube, like some YouTube pundit,
Yeah.
and they would just take like racist clips and just like comment on it and just say all this, whatever kind of shit. Um, and it kind of like peers into the Umar Johnson territory, but I don't think it was Umar Johnson. It was some other guy who just has time and money and a green screen. But but like that shit like makes a lot of like it, it really creates the worst of the worst when it comes to that kind of thing. And like a lot of those kind of people that, especially black men that kind of eat that shit up, they're not gonna see it as anything that's right wing. They don't give a fuck about bipartisan politics as
Yeah.
opposed
Yeah.
to a
Yeah.
system that's already oppressing them, and they're already trying to like make the dues out of it. But like it is scare tactics for sure that feeds in and is borrowed from supremacy, and they're not having it one way or another because they already have the back against their wall kind of thing. And I
Yeah.
get their prejudices, I get it, like especially being a black man, whatever, a black person, male, female, whatever the fuck in this society, non-binary, all whatever, all that good shit. But like that shit, I do not like it at all. It just
Yeah.
leads to the worst type of like thoughts and feelings, and just makes people just afraid. And
Well, like some shit that it seems kind of like really misled, even it's an intention. Like where it's like with
oh,
hoteps, like hoteps are all into that like ancient technology, like and but like what the thing that's
Fred
the thing
Flintstone
what
cars and shit.
the thing that the thing that seems like they're almost like trying to fight against white supremacist talking points, but in a way are like capitulating to them is like one of the main white supremacists. The main thing that they love to talk about is like we invented XYZ technology. You didn't invent this, right? So it's like,
Mm.
but it's like instead of arguing against that by being like, who gives a shit what was invented where, who's keeping score, it doesn't matter. Instead of saying that, they respond with like, no, like we had UFOs in the olden days. And it's just like, why not just say who cares? Why start invent? You know what I'm saying? It's like playing the
I mean,
argument of
I
the,
feel like at that point it just goes into like biblical proportions.
right, of just
It goes
fantasy,
into,
right? It's
yeah,
like,
just like who's the superior human being, because
right,
if
right.
someone's gonna have the Aryan rhetoric over here, then like some black extremists over here, black nationalists is gonna like, and when we talk about black nationalism, it's not the same as white nationalism. Let's get that straight for a fact. But like there are people that definitely take it too far, and then they say some dumb shit like that. And then it just like goes into all these territories of just like, as I said, supremacy, and then all this extra rhetoric that just like goes into all these avenues and kind of like gets kind of has its relevancies into other pieces of media like albums and art and all this other
Yeah.
stuff. And then it goes into like Kendrick shit, which then I mean later Kendrick is now doing more, as I said, Afrocentric based type of things, like doing
Is
maybe I mean yeah, I guess like the Black Panther record is somewhat, it's Afrocentric, but whatever.
Yeah, I haven't actually kept up. I gotta be honest. I only know To Pimp a Butterfly and the Good Kid, Mad City, sort of. But I don't. Has he been getting more Hotepish or just Afrocentric,
I
not
don't think
Hotep?
so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Like I mean the Big Boppers record was like still another one of those like introspective, like conflicting as hell records. I haven't listened to all of it because I just am lazy.
Well,
But
only so much time in a day, you know.
yeah, I know, right? Let listen to two-sided Kendrick record. That's what made this record easy to listen to. Like instrumentally, there was a lot of shit going on. Like everything was popping. Like didn't really feel like too latched into listening to this latest Kendrick record as much as I thought I would have. So I, forgive me to anybody that wants to G check me on that.
Ah,
But
yeah.
for the time that this record came out, it was just great timing. Really retrospective enough time for a person like me for sure. As I said, just being in my 20s in the 2010s, that was, I lived and survived, or whatever the hell that's supposed to mean, but like just living through that kind of era and period, no one expected that. No one. I
Dude,
mean,
yeah.
Kendrick is even expresses that time and time again. Just like no one is given any kind of rule book on capitalism or how to just make any of this shit work, and we're trying to make something out of nothing. And yes, there is going to be some kind of aspects of errors, but we do our best to like at least kind of find some sense of resolution.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any other records that like you can think of from the last decade that are like either as deep as it or like as important or like because I just described this as like the worst decade ever, but then we're talking about this record smack dab in the middle of it and at the turning point of when it's like it happened at this turning point into what I consider to be the worst part. I mean, the second half. I mean, 2015 to 2020. Like,
Oh yeah,
like that's when like early tens, like to me, are like kind of sort of cool, I guess. So, but so like yeah. So I'm talking about a shitty decade, but then this amazing record right in the middle. Yeah. Are there any other records that hit you like that, or like I don't know?
I mean, I feel really maybe I'm not the best person for this kind of stuff because I don't really gravitate to hip hop as much as I should. There's probably a butt fuck ton of records that do the trick. Actually, what am I talking about? Fucking Open Mike Eagle.
Yeah.
Open
Still
Mike
haven't
Eagle.
checked them out. Yeah.
What's that fucking record? Brick Body Complex. That's like a really good like concept record. It's a concept record about Brick Body Kid Still Daydream. Yeah, Brick Body Kid Still Daydream. That's a good record.
Okay.
Instrumentally has a lot of good like tracks and samples. But it's also a concept record about a building in the hood, and it's just like the history that it's gone through, its tenants, the surroundings, just everything.
That's a
And
deep concept. Yeah. That's a deep
yeah, and
concept. Yeah.
it goes all the way to if not its early days, then to the day it gets destroyed, and just like it's kind of just like gives you that pictorial aspect of like just how much this home that has sheltered so many people is now just sold out, bought out, and shut down. And it's a sad ending.
Yeah. I'll have to check that out. I always heard the name, but I always thought it sounded too like positive or so. I don't know. Like
Open Mike Eagle.
Like he just sounds like it's too nice of a guy. I'm like I don't know.
He does seem like a nice dude if I met him in person.
Right.
Like,
I'm being perverse, but yeah.
Let's see.
Because I meant any genre. I didn't mean rap. I meant just any record of any genre of the 2010s that was really that important. I mean,
for me,
I mean not Sunbather. I'll tell you that. But anyway, yeah. Sorry, hate.
Get up, yeah. No. If you're a hater, own up to it. I respect it. Damn, Because okay, I'm 29, 2020. It's 2022. I'm 29. So like a lot of my fucking like big development years was definitely like 2010s. So like I'm like early 2010 like gent and prog kid.
Yes. Oh,
So a lot
gent.
of
Yeah.
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 I don't want to talk about gent.
No, we don't have to. But that is, yeah, no, our generational difference, I would say, gent is marked by, because that's something that
Yeah,
I
yeah,
totally would
yeah.
have, I totally would have been into. But by the time it happened, I was already like, just not. Yeah.
You're really not missing out on a lot. If anything, I feel like I try to get more into like I don't know, just anything else that's not necessarily that. Because I mean, there's so much everything else like blackened. The rise of blackened insert heavy genre
Yes.
that has
Yes.
like after 2015. Man, what a
No,
takeoff.
great point. Yeah, just all these different types of metal that have absorbed the less or whatever. Yeah, the blackenedness of black metal. Yeah, very sick. Yeah,
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 that acknowledging that or metal not acknowledging that to its fullest extent is definitely kind of an L to me. Because if anybody hasn't caught on, even I mean, I love music, but metal is the forte to say the least.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of things that have popped up in the years of that kind of shit. I think like what I want to say, like for me, this one band Warforged, their record Voice, I Voice,
Okay.
easily one of the most important records of the decade to
Of the
me.
decade. No shit. Okay.
Of the
War
decade,
Force.
like Warforged.
War Forged. Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they have a new record out that came out this year. It's fucking awesome too. But like, I'm gonna have to definitely at least just give credit to where it is due for me, and just say
Yeah.
that record definitely did a lot for me. What else?
Yeah. Because like I don't know, like that early like not even necessarily to focus on rap at all, but just in general, like that Tyler shit from the very beginning of the decade is like I
Yeah, that
like to,
kicked off a lot of shit too.
I revisited that stuff recently, and at the time it wasn't that important to me. I was already like 30, so I was like not, like skateboarding and fucking, it wasn't really like my thing, but it's like revisiting that, I'm like, not only is this like so my vibe, like I love this, but it's like, but it does feel, I guess this, yeah, like I said, I guess early tens, like it reminded me of that, and could not have been made in like 2016. Even though I know Tyler's kept going and being amazing, but it's like he
With
couldn't
that,
have come out in 2018.
nah. I mean,
Right?
if he did, it wouldn't have been bad, but it wouldn't have been as impactful because we have enough of those kind of like hip hop heads that play major seventh chords on a piano. You know,
Okay, yeah,
like we have enough of that by 2018 for sure.
yeah.
Labyrinth Constellation by Artificial
Don't.
Brain.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That I say that was an important record because that wave of American that wave of American black metal where you had more of like angular riffs that were off of what's it more Deathspell ripoff bands.
Yeah, that's my shit. We're talking heavy stuff. Deathspell is like, that is
Yeah.
God tier, dude. God tier.
When we got more Deathspell ripoff bands that understood and heard themselves and got more of a better form, that's when like shit started really popping off. That was the same time or relatively around the same time we got more blackened stuff. So that was a really good pivotal point.
Yeah, Artificial Brain. That's like 2014, I think, right?
And that was early.
Kind of, yeah.
Doesn't even feel like 2014.
I think of that as I think of them as a tech death or like a death metal band, but the blackened, it's atmosphere basically, right? To me, blackened means there's a mist of some kind, or there's there's an aura.
I've heard, I watched some of your videos on like you're talking about black metal, but then I try to read this book on the ecological aspects of black metal. It was just super fucking dense. I just was like,
really,
let me step back from this. But like, yeah, it really, you can hear those kind of elements that airiness, that atmosphere, that openness, that sound, and that raw intensity, but having that angular sense that comes from like death spell and things like that. But an ulcerate, shit
Love
like that.
ulcerate, love ulcerate, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like it seems like with metal, there is like there's like all these like sick developments in the tens, but they're actually not like all the stuff we're talking about. It's not reaching outside metal at all. It's like refining, black and death and tech and like all the subgenres kind of synthesizing, but it's like not like groundbreakingly, like, oh, what am I hearing?
Hobardo.
Nice.
Hobardo was a big thing, and that really changed a lot of me. I
Sick.
actually, this like tattoo. I don't really, you can't really see it right now, but yeah, it's like a
Dude,
Hobardo
you got a
tattoo.
Hubardo tat, bro.
Yeah, let me just take off this
Hell
shirt.
yeah. Oh, who is Poi Hafwad? I want to know who this is because they're mentioning the Drebes. Great band. Can't say that they made a huge impact in the
Oh,
tens,
Chuck
but but
Stern.
but they're
Yeah,
but
yeah,
their Drebes are amazing, and yeah, Chuck is amazing. Like totally underrated
yeah. You
piano
already
guy.
know. And also, Brother Brown mentioned some other people, so like Earl, Mavie, Pusha T, Smino, Chicago, West Side Gun, all
Yeah,
those kind of people.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Because
but
I'm
yeah,
yeah I'm thinking. Oh shit, what is that for? That's like the inside art or something, or what is that?
yeah,
Okay, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Sick, dude.
yeah.
Great band, great record. Is that my favorite? I don't know if you know what I think. My favorite KO record is Coffins on IO,
Oh, what a
which I don't know if everyone agrees, but that's I don't know, something about just yeah.
it has. Like, you feel me when I say it has this like sexuality to it.
Oh yeah, Toby fucks. Yeah, no,
Yeah, yeah,
no
Toby
question.
fucking show.
Yeah, I mean his
But
music
like,
fucks, obviously.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It's like
But like, there's like this like this just overarch. Like, that was like the Dark Wave record too, but it was just like I don't know
right.
what was going through his head, but like I listened. I used to listen to Spirit Photography to go to sleep sometimes. Like that shit
Yeah,
is just.
yeah. Because I guess I'm trying to go through this because I'm trying to like redeem this decade that I just maligned so hard to like think back of like no
Yo,
actually there was awesome stuff actually blah blah
that
blah
first Thundercat record was sick. That I mean, we had that just so much that just came out. I mean, I don't know, like it just I don't know where
dude
to begin or end. It just every
overrated as fuck
year.
though. I gotta say, call me a hater, Kamasi I think is pretty overrated. I mean he's very
I
talented,
I
like good musician,
yeah.
but I just don't.
I hope. Well, it's like I would hope that that kind of shit would have led to like a modern day Blue Note revision era, but
Yeah,
I don't think I really need to push that or ask for that because we already have things going on in certain other pockets. We got your drum heads with Chris Dave, we got your Kamal Williams, your Yusuf Days, and everybody. Yeah, that Yusuf Days, Kamal Williams record, Black Focus, that was a
I don't know.
crazy. That was a good period for a lot of new jazz musicians to come through, especially after 2016 or some shit like that.
Is that
So
yeah? So Kamasi did spark off some
he was
jazz,
in that wave.
some other great. Because yeah, I guess I'm not really familiar with that
Yeah, because I mean,
with that wave of jazz. Actually, yeah,
because like Kamasi was on. I mean, yeah, Kamasi was on the Kendrick record, but then we
yeah,
had Thundercat, we had Bilal, we had Snoop Dogg, George Clinton, Rhapsody on. Ron Isley, like
yeah. I
just
know, right? Yeah, was that
like
a sample of him or was that actually him?
that was actually him
That was
singing. That
actually
was
him.
yeah, on that end
That's
of
funny.
how much a dollar cost. Yo, that shit was ham.
Yeah,
Like there's
yeah.
all these people on the cut, just like constructing and making, just like and composing. Like
Yeah.
just I can't imagine the writing process of composing this record. Like that shit. The shit that just was into this shit into this record is just, as I said, dense and just so much to get into. But
Yeah, I
it's
just I picture it like just I picture that vibe of just like generating, like you were saying, tons of material in a loose way, then like paring it down to the best of that, then spreading that out again, then paring
yeah,
down. Like I just imagine that whole like,
cutting
very
and editing.
very generative. It's like basically the opposite of how I make music, which is just like, is this gonna be a B flat or a B natural? I'm gonna make another cup of coffee and
And
figure this shit out before I
and
finish. Like just the
it's not
opposite,
that they don't do that either. They
Right.
are obviously they're playing. There's so much live instrumentation on that record. It's
Yeah, yeah.
even for my band, we still do that too, regardless of how much we're sampling. We already hear the sample that we're going to, but we have to understand what is the musical structure that's even happening right here to then compose on top. You
Right.
have the Christmas tree. You put ornaments on that bitch.
Yeah.
And I don't know necessarily that was the process of this record, but you can hear some parts where it is like that, and how certain beats and samples segue into one into another from beginning to end.
Yeah.
And even them doing what's that one song like on I like
yeah, what's on which one is I
like I love myself.
Oh yeah. Very, very positive song. Yeah.
And then he does that like the live audience shit, and he's talking about, and then I think was that where he did the Negus thing or no?
I think so. I think so.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And then that cutting in the Mortal Man, like the beat on the instrumentation on Mortal Man is just to die for. Like that whole when shit hits the fan, is you still a fan? Chorus is like obviously very resonant to this day, but like even okay, that's also has some cringe worthy sentiments where he's like, Michael Jackson made Billie Jean. Do you think you touched those kids? It's
dude,
like,
no, I forgot about that. I forgot.
It's like, yo, I get where you're coming from, but no, because like to this day, R. Kelly just dropped that album and it got taken away, right?
Yeah, but dude, to be a great artist,
I don't know.
Dude,
come on.
To be a great artist, you have to. I mean, intelligence is good, but you need to have a little bit of like just retardation, like wrong shit. Like, you know what I mean? Just to like, if you're really reaching as an artist, you're gonna step on your dick. You know what I mean? If you don't step on your dick, you didn't take enough risks. So whatever. Like, he took a risk. He defended Michael. Whatever.
It's not, and that's not really like the worst thing in the way he presented it. But I'm not like the hugest subscriber of like separating art and artistry. Like,
really, okay, yeah.
It's you live your day to day, and it can definitely influence the music you do. Or you can, see other people's days and just kind of tell a narrative about that. Kind of like you were talking about that in the Magnetic Zeros thing.
Magnetic Fields, yeah.
Magnetic Fields, my bad. Yep. Zeros. I saw that band once too. That was wild. Like,
was it?
I never would have. I didn't think about it. I just like my friend was like, "We're going." I'm like, "Okay, we'll go." Cool.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I even would have been that impressed by them live without. It was cool though. Yeah,
it was like just like soft and quaint and cute.
Yeah.
And that's kind of if that's what the music was on the record, which I haven't listened to as fully. Then like they got me.
I would.
Middle-aged white people that everybody was really like docile and waiting for, and it's just like, oh, this audience is respectful.
I would, all these adjectives I fucking hate, but they're amazing. But they happen to be amazing. I would check out that record though, because there's the cute stuff, but then there's this more synth pop stuff and some like washy reverby stuff that is like a little more, I don't know, less twee or whatever. But But
also, I'm not familiar with Eureka Farm, Brad. I'm sorry. I'll check that out eventually, though. For sure.
Yeah, me neither. Because I'm more thinking about stuff that's not only awesome, but like was important. Yeah, like, I don't know, Death Grips, like which one of their records? What's the big one? Like No Love, Money Deep Store, Web. Oh my,
Money Store was the biggest one, I would say, commercially speaking, especially. Money Store, No Love was that turning point. That's the first time I saw them too. I met them too.
They cool.
It was cool. I sold some weed to MC Ride. It got a
nice.
hug.
I met Zach years ago, but just in passing. Death Grips, that makes me want to like do bad shit, man. Like when I hear that,
it's nefarious ass music.
It makes me want to like really do damaging stuff to my health and just be like
remember that? What was that music video where Flea was in it, and it was like Ice Cube, and they were just like tearing shit up. It's like
I don't remember this, but this is from
that energy.
It's like from the 90s or something. Or?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's like that kind of energy.
Flea and Ice Cube. Yeah. Oh no,
Some
yeah.
shit, some rap video that Flea was doing some shit. It invokes a violent binge, as Brother Brown says.
There's certain
Yeah, and
music
then
that
like
makes me, yeah.
seeing DG and that No Love tour. What a fucking time.
Yeah, yeah. I never saw them live, but because this is the thing. No, it's like your 30s. You're gonna see, man. Your 30s. I mean, it's a weird time. Not necessarily bad, but you're not a middle aged guy yet. You're definitely not a kid. You know, for most people, it's like their 20s, but hopefully like more next level career wise
Yeah,
or
no,
whatever.
I believe that.
But the relationship to pop culture, it's like I can't. There's hardly anything I got into in my 30s. There's that feeling when you get into stuff in your 20s and especially a teenager where stuff just destroys you. Like I'm not sure if I had those experiences in my 30s, where you hear something and you're like, I'm never gonna be the same after this.
Oh,
Like,
with that being said, Animals as Leaders is like first record was at that time, 2010.
is that important
That
stuff? I never really.
Animals as Leaders that
Yeah.
changed the landscape on guitar. Like
No shit.
so, like Gent. I mean, that was the same time as Gent and prog metal and like internet, like really issuing out like the solo musician. Like,
Yeah.
um, like when we had the time to realize when people could realize you can do at like big production shit at home, and that really cut
Yes.
down so much of that. Like the internet age really showed that a lot, where you had your Misha Mansours, your Tosin Abbasis, and those motherfuckers, and plenty other dudes around the world were going on like 7 String Forum and sharing music and whatever kind of ideas.
Yeah.
uh,
I missed all
yeah,
this. I know what you're
no.
talking about, but I missed all the details of
Yeah, no,
all
that
this.
was a
Yeah.
big the rise of the independent musician in the 2010s was a really big like factor that like make and break a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
um
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
shit, it made the landscape awesome, but it made it a lot more competitive, but it definitely issued the next era of a lot of shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shit that I'm really thankful for, that I'm a lot of friends I met through the internet and through just metal, just
Yeah.
yeah, just
Yeah. I feel like
insane.
early tens, I was like, I was almost entirely listening to just like the most ignorant, like evil black metal, like, and it's like it didn't really last or even really influence my own stuff like that much. Maybe a little bit in Psalm Zero, but it was just
Yeah,
like,
I didn't really
you know,
feel that in Psalm Zero. I felt
but
just
not really, yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I was just very like that. My whole listening shit was just like, why, whatever, like Hate Forest. I mean, just this is the most fucking like, just, yeah. Oh
You
no,
know
no,
how-
no. And Aniket brings up a thing. Yes, show me the body did destroy me in my 30s. That's actually crazy. Yeah, it's few and far between, but that's actually the last band to destroy me, and it's not that long ago that shit destroyed me. Show me the body. I cannot even say enough about this band. It's so crazy.
they're cool. Like I went to see them when they did that tour Daughters and Health, and I mean, before all the bullshit happened. But like Health already badass. Daughters was cool for that moment. Show Me the Body. I wasn't like super invested in them, but I was already. Their likeness was so well known enough. You cannot escape that corporate shit. Like, it doesn't matter where the fuck. Yeah, if you're in DIY, you're gonna hear "Show Me the Body" somewhere.
Yep.
Like, in some vague shit. Like fucking Tom. They fuck with Tommy Wright the Third. I remember I went to go see Tommy Wright the Third for like a free show down here. That shit was dope. But it's just like, it's cool when you have that kind of connection, because this is the kind of shit I want to see culture like really come through or come about. Like, just like, you add some skater shit, add some DIY shit, get some Memphis hip hop in it. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. Like, this is for you if you want it to be.
Yeah, they're consolidating a lot of different vibes. Oh, what's up, APATT? We're playing together in London or no, Bristol? I can't. Yeah, whatever it is, I'm looking for.
Hey.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see what we got here. Well, you know what? Actually, I am kind of doing shorter streams nowadays. For a while,
I was gonna say
for a while I was doing, because this is the thing. I mean, we could talk for 4 hours and it wouldn't really lag probably, but I am trying to keep it under 2 hours.
Yeah, you
nowadays.
want to get the good meat.
Yeah. But
Yeah, we could
yeah,
definitely
man.
start wrapping it up for sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, Liverpool. That's where we're doing it. That's where it's
Hell
going
yeah. No,
down.
that's gonna be a sick tour. I hope that really works out for you, homie.
I'm pumped, man. I'm like getting in the I'm trying to get in the mindset. Like I'm hyped, but it's like it's been so long since I've even played a show, and I'm gonna go from 0 to like 20 shows in a row, no days off, extra life reboot, driving manual shift, like you
You're gonna
know,
feel the rush. It's gonna
like
be
like
cathartic.
like good enough turnouts that it's just get I mean, even worst case scenario, they're going to be good enough that it's just like, what the this is what we play for, like, it's going to
Yeah.
be like, yeah. So I'm pumped, but I gotta like remember how to get my sleep and like whatever, like,
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
you
As
know
I said, it's truly gonna be cathartic as hell.
yeah, dude.
But yeah, no, fucking Hoteps and to Pimp a Butterfly. Tell you what, it is as I said, this record isn't like as deeply as Hotepi as it can be. I think it just has like it's like shared semblances to some degrees, but nothing that I feel like is to the degree where Kendrick is like, even if he may be with the black hippie movement, I don't think that's like as I don't think it's Hotepi. I think it's just like maybe black liberals at the least.
Black hippie. Oh, he has a line. Okay, we don't have to spiral off, but he has this
Go ahead,
line
say it.
that is what the fuck? Wait, which line is this? He says liberal. He says the liberal idea. What a man's gonna do. He says that, yeah, that liberal idea. Oh yeah, no, it's in the song about how, what a dollar costs. Yeah, he's talking about
Mhm.
stacking his royalties, and he says that liberal concept of what men'll do. What men will do. I don't know what that means, but it sounds deep as hell. Like, just that he would say that liberal
You
concept. Like,
know,
what is he like?
I feel because like a lot of I always wonder about like as I said his like ideas of like capitalism and like how that kind of how material kind of conflicts with identitarian based politics and then how that kind of goes with any kind of other world experiences or any other things like that. But just it's not like I'm like, oh, are you like are you Afro Marxist or like
Right,
what do you believe in right wing? I don't think
right.
he's like, I
Labels
don't
as
think he's
much. Yeah.
subscribed to any, yeah, I don't think he's subscribed to like any ideologue kind of stuff. Like, I think I can go up to a person like Zach Fox and talk about Murray Bookchin before I go up to, um, Kendrick Lamar and then just like ask about like, what do you feel about Martin Luther King being a socialist?
Right. Well, yeah, I'm sure he'd have something
I think it's
intelligent
things to
to say,
say.
but
Yeah.
it probably wouldn't be like hard hitting, like, yeah,
Yeah,
opinions.
it's not like I'm
Yeah.
not expecting Fred Hampton talks, but like I don't think I'm gonna. I don't know if I'm gonna expect like us to be on the same page, but I think he has a good, very grounded idea. I'm not expecting, as I said, lefty, you know, talking points and shit like that. But I think he definitely understands what I'm talking about,
Yeah, you
and he's
vibe with the orientation, like it's a
yeah.
general. Yeah.
Because like he's like on tracks like and like others like sentiments like on tracks like complexion he's talking about that's also a narrative kind of based song, but he's talking about like colorism and skin tones and like really appreciating um who you are and your skin tone because I don't know about Jewish people talking about it, but
No, there's
colorism is
not. It's not
definitely,
even, dude.
yeah, maybe y'all talk about other features and shit, but colorism in the black
Nah.
community is definitely a prevalent every day-to-day thing, and
Yeah,
full of
yeah,
all the aggressions and microaggressions you can believe in, and like,
yeah.
and even he got caught in the crossfire of that, and he beat the allegations because they try to be like, oh, yo fucking your fiance, your wife, she light skinned, and it's like. This is my fucking high school sweetheart. Like
Right.
are you really gonna like go back in time and like try to be
Yeah,
like
like
Kendrick?
erase.
No,
Right. Just like
not
injecting her
that.
with melanin and shit, like just and then like
Yeah,
just
and
holding her down. Yeah.
that's riddled on its own discourses. I see why people are angry, but it's like, yo, what? Like, no, that's not no.
Yeah,
Like,
leave people's love affairs alone and shit.
yeah, that's something that's not you shouldn't go against or attack because that's not the way. Like, if he said something that makes you obviously be like, hey, critique this aspect of your colorist nature or views, then like go from there. Not your wife is light skinned.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
But
Yo,
yeah,
yeah.
no, there's a lot of things that go into this record, like are very very self aware. I feel like on a second take of listening to this after years of this being out and about, and some of it is Hotep light. I think it has its relevancy, but in the end, it's just that gets overwashed by just so many beats and melodies and
Yeah,
just
yeah, and the personal aspect. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we'll wrap it up. But yeah, the line in Hood Politics: Demo Crips versus Rebloodlicans.
oh, great line,
It's so good. That is
great line.
so good, man. Yeah, I love
Like
that.
as much as it can be like a white I always hear white people use that shit, but
I
like
use it. I'm
in
that guy. Yeah, I'm that guy. Yes, yes. I'm.
yeah
Yeah, yeah.
yeah no it's definitely cool. Before you go, I was gonna say, what are your thoughts and feelings, or if you have any thoughts and feelings, or like about like Jewish double consciousness? Because so
Oh yeah.
this record is riddled with it. But like when it comes to the contemporary shit that's going on, whatever, especially with like Jewishness being under scrutiny, and other people analyzing it or reanalyzing it, and some
Yeah.
people like saying one thing or another. Like what is your
Yeah.
general take, especially if not contemporarily speaking, always living with this identity of especially being treated under a white lens, but you still know like, hey, I am what I am. Like
Right, right, right. Yeah, I mean, actually, if we're gonna, we don't actually have to wrap up if we're about to go on another deep. Well, let's see. Let's see what my answer is. I
we can
mean,
do a good tangent on this. We don't have
yeah,
to like
yeah, we could do a
exactly like
tangent. We
we
can
can
do
do
a
you don't have
tangent.
to do a speeder on it, but we can definitely, like
Well,
I'm just
like,
kind of
let's see.
curious.
It's weird for me because, like, I mean, first off, I hate. No, hate is a strong word. I have a real distaste for like unnecessary identity politics. I mean, you know what I mean? So it's like, the idea of like, I've made some records that were getting into like, I'm Jewish. What does that mean? But it's like, it's only on my dad's side. Real Jews wouldn't even claim me for that reason. But
Yeah, was it you're not Ashkenazi. What the fuck?
yeah, yeah. Well, the three, I mean, you're supposed to have 2 out of 3 things to be Jewish. It's supposed to be, is your mom Jewish? Do you practice Judaism? And would Hitler have murked you? You know what I mean? So it's like, those are the 3 things. So it's
Yeah,
like,
I want to hear the communal
so
sentiments, because everybody always
I
wants to talk about what's in the black community like
yeah,
that.
so I only have 1 out of the 3, so I don't, but it's like you get, I guess it's like, I don't know if you get this like, well, okay, well, first of all, another thing about identity politics, if you've got mixed stuff, I actually think it's kind of corny to like over identify with the side of you that's like supposedly the oppressed one as versus the other one. You know what I mean? Like, I know, like, my friend is like, she's like half Puerto Rican and half French, and she's just like, I'm fucking Puerto Rican. And I'm like, dude, I
Puerto
respect
Rican
it, but like,
when you want it to be, right, kind of thing.
yeah, well, she's kind of Puerto Rican all day. I guess maybe there's cultural shit,
I,
whatever.
I don't know your friend, so I don't want to speak for that kind of thing. But it's just like, if you kind of feel like that kind of feeling where it's just like, like, it's not that you have to always wear it on your sleeve, because I'm born into this skin. What more? I mean, my nationality is Ghanaian, but I don't really show or express that. If
You
anything,
don't? Okay.
I feel so disconnected from that sometimes, and
Yeah.
that's at my own faults. But like, unless you don't really talk to me about that kind of stuff, like my nationality and ethnicity and anything like that, even knowing that for me is very. I'm privileged to know that, because
Yeah.
like having disconnection from identity, especially when you're black in this country. Like you're already colonized as is, like decastrated from identity. You just
Yeah,
have no
this is,
semblance of the world.
well,
Like
this is what's so fun. Like, yeah, it's like Jewishness and blackness, it's kind of like opposite shit, even though both groups were at different points enslaved. Like, you want to talk about connected to your roots. Jews, it's the most unbroken. Like, if you go to a Seder, it's like you may as well be like, you may as well. Well, I mean, fuck Israel, but I mean, just like, well,
Yeah.
well, there's well, that's a little bit more like cope for the Holocaust, or I don't know, whatever. But like, or in any case,
Yeah. No, it's its own.
but it's
It's
like if
its
you,
own.
but like if you just go to like a seder, like you may as well just be in like ancient times. Like it's just like back to like it just feel like just yeah that thread, and it's just like black America's cut off from the. But I don't know, Jewish I mean, well in that video I was just talking about sort of like self hatred versus total arrogance. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it's like I don't know how that compares to other groups, you know what I mean? But yeah, like just this thing of like I'm like this loser and perennial loser and I'm all fucking this and that, but then also being like I'm fucking smarter than everyone. It's like just
Yeah,
this
yeah.
like this like two sides that like both are kind of just like stupid, but
I mean, those personality. I think as an archetype of a personality, it can definitely be transparent in any to all races.
yeah.
Um, for white people, yes, it might not be. We don't really. I don't think we ask too much or even think about white double consciousness for white people. Like
Man, this is a thing about identity politics, dude. You don't want white people to
I
have
don't.
racial conscious. No,
I don't.
I don't mean just you because it's like,
No,
but I
no,
mean
no. I know. But
people. It's
yeah,
you're poking a fucking bear,
because
dude.
like
You
we already have
don't
to.
want like
I mean, it's like I with like the way that the like identity based landscape, especially for white people, it's just too many things are conflated that they try to put as a personality, and then it goes on their sleeve and all this other shit, and it's just like, look, like I don't know if you're trying to make yourself adjacent to like oppressed groups or anything, but it doesn't make you any closer to me. You will not find solidarity completely for me all because of this one thing or a factor or whatever. Like there's so
Wait,
much we have to think.
you mean white people having an identity as an oppressed group? No, no. Wait, how do you mean?
Like saying some shit like I don't want to say I don't know I don't want to say anything too like that sounds too reactionary, but like
Bro, you're on the. I mean, dude, the shit I've said on here, dude. Forget. I mean, just to fire off, dude.
especially in what like lefty groups like like especially like let's say like for example like queer white lefty groups
Oh, word, yeah.
like you can like just like don't please don't have this like imaginary level of like of oppression that you feel like you have or something that then conflate to like what I have to deal with because what I have to deal with is completely different than what you have to deal with.
Yeah, I
and,
mean, of course,
and like it's okay to understand that difference. It totally is like, but
of
to even
course, yeah.
recognize it as such is something that I always just find difficulty with more than me having to talk to whoever. It just it can be an easily weaponized thing for all the dumb reasons, and I just
Yeah. I don't know, Jewish stuff. It's more like I mean, we take it as a joke, man. A lot of this shit is a
yeah,
joke.
I've never
I
really
mean,
met anybody like Jewish that's like use it against me like that.
I mean, until it's not a joke. But I like. I mean, there's a paranoia. There's a culture of being somewhat paranoid. But
Hey, I mean, I
still.
I feel you.
But
That's
it's
something you
still.
can relate to,
But it's not real paranoia. You know what I mean? It's like nobody. It's not like people are
Yeah,
really out to get you. It's just
like
like a
like
vibe.
anti. I experience anti-blackness or can see it on a day-to-day basis and identify it. The
Right.
Jewish thing, I feel like I have to be in a specific time and place sometimes. Not that maybe it's just what's curated around me, but like
Yeah.
I don't really like when you hear anti-Semitic wave, it feels like a wave, and then it breaks off, and then it pockets itself, as opposed to like every day. Just if you're just a few shades darker than this one thing, then like you're gonna get some kind of persecution. You're gonna be subjected to that kind of shit. Like
Yeah.
and like, I mean, if not living in Atlanta will show you that, just like being anywhere in the US is that kind of. We still live in sundown towns. Do Jewish people have to worry about that?
Well, no one would claim that, yeah. I mean, like,
I
I
don't
never,
like
I mean, I never feel like even just Kanye being like, fuck Jews. I mean, the only time I've ever felt like uncomfortable is like in Eastern Europe when someone asks you if you're Jewish.
Yo, Eastern Europe.
I'm a
Oh, that's
little bit. I'm not like, oh, that I am oppressed to epigenetic. You know, like
no,
the
yeah, I feel
inherited.
you.
It's not like that. But I'm just kind of like,
It
what
does
of
have
it?
its,
I am a
yeah.
little bit. I am a little bit like, what of it? You know what
It
I
does
mean?
raise your
Like,
eyebrow a little bit
yeah,
because those areas, it's a little that shit is different. The
yeah.
history, the politics, the everything is.
It's a little
Oh,
different. Yeah, it's a
yeah,
little different.
it's a
But
little different.
I mean, just in that video with the Kanye thing, I was just
Hmm.
like, it was a conflict. It was, you see, you know, I admit I was conflicted. I didn't want to misuse my Jewish influence over the media, and that's what Last Thing's about. No,
Got him.
I kind of yeah,
Who is Jewish Tupac? With that being said,
like I don't know, Jackie Mason. No, I don't fucking. I don't fucking know. No, who's the Jewish Tupac? What an
please do
interesting.
not say Mai's Yahoo. Do not
He
say Mai's
wouldn't. It wouldn't have to. I mean, it wouldn't be a Jewish rapper though. It would be
Yeah, it
like
does not have to be a rapper. Like anybody
yeah.
who has that kind of like,
It would
I don't
have
know,
to
would
be
like
a
Noam
comedian.
Chomsky.
No, no. Well, you know, like a megalomaniac entertainer. I don't know, hard to say. But I just with that Kanye shit, I was just like, I actually don't know how to feel. I was like, I'm just gonna like in this case choose to like be offended, but not even offended, but I'm just gonna like in this instance be like, shut the fuck up. Even though I'm not
Yeah, yeah.
really I mean, I'm not really feeling offended, but there's something.
It says Seinfeld. Hey, true.
Yo, but actually though, no. You know what I would say, Larry David.
Timeline.
No, it would be Larry David. It would be Larry David.
Actually, yeah, I guess yeah, Larry David. Yeah. Jewish too.
And that dude, I gotta say, man, I've been watching Curb again all the way through, and it's like he really finds a way to do that Jewish stereotype guy, but make it like Chad. Like he's actually on some like he makes it like almost like alpha shit, but he's like still the neurotic like I'm a Jew guy, but he's running shit. Like it's really
it's just so like it's so acceptable. But it's like with Larry David, it's like that kind of humor already next to like whatever Jews do on a daily basis. Like however he writes it in, it doesn't have the same repercussions as like when black people do self-deprecation.
Oh no, of course not.
You
Of
know?
course not. It means a whole different thing.
Yeah, which I mean that's its own talk on its end, but like humor, when you outline it like that in general, instead of it just being like I'm pretentious and make whatever, it's just like when you just can make fun of the general monotony of it all with some extra shit without having to be weird about it, like or really overtly self-deprecating, like I don't know, like Louis C.K. or something. But like if as long as you just can write good humor, then you got it. Like
yeah.
No one's gonna question. That's why Patrice O'Neal's the shit.
Dude, that guy, like, just goat, man. I think he's just goated. Like, I think that's what it is.
That time was awesome. You had Patrice O'Neal, Bruce, early Dave Chappelle was ham.
Oh yeah. Greg Giraldo, I think, was part of that generation. Rest in peace. I don't know.
Not familiar. I need to check that out.
Yeah, same generation. Yeah.
True. Like, maybe some Bill Burr. I'm not really big on Bill Burr.
I was gonna say Bill Burr. He really fell off, but the first Bill Burr special is like Zeppelin 4, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, that's like that. That's like
Zeppelin
really,
4.
Yeah, no, it's
yeah. Yeah, no, it's like a lot of that shit was. Oh man, yeah.
But yes, like what would the Jewish to Pimp a Butterfly record be? You know, like I don't know what that. Well, it just wouldn't be that necessary though to make some statement about Jewish identity. It's not like we need this. Like it's just not that important. It would be interesting, but not like, you know what I'm saying, like earth-shattering.
Yeah,
like,
I think there's probably enough commemoration of that.
Dude, fuck that. You know what the Jewish to Pimp a Butterfly is? Simple answers. Thank you, Aniket. There it is, dude. My shit.
Oh,
boom.
There you go. Yeah, there we go.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. There it is. There it is.
You say Contra? Jesus.
How much? How into Necro are you, dude?
Not super into Necro, but like Necro. As soon as I think about Necro, I think about like, for some reason, like Bus Driver and like what's his fucking name?
Yeah, those guys, I don't know.
Um, yeah, Necro's like Necro's pretty hip about shit. I
I
would
mean,
say
I don't know, he's very
when he was.
yeah, I mean, he's like he gets pretty ignorant though. I don't know, like it's
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
does.
he's like very smart lyricist, but violent and crazy. I don't know, but very into.
Didn't he do battle rap and shit, or am I?
I think so. I mean, I've never seen any of that, but he's definitely like a skills MC. Anyway, just very big on being Jewish and Jewish and violent and street and shit. He's just really about exploding those stereotypes and shit.
Yeah, y'all, you live in like the area where like more Jewish dudes do some hood ass shit, like
But barely any do though. This is why I'm saying Jewishness and blackness. It's like the opposite. It's like the anti-blackness is like you're dumb. The anti-Jewishness is like you're too clever. You know what I mean? It's like the anti-blackness is like you're overly tough and violent. The anti-Jewish shit is like you're a pussy. Like it's really it's
yeah,
like the
yeah.
polar. It's like the polar opposites. You know what I mean of how of being perceived. You know.
You have too much power. You don't have enough.
Enough power. Yeah, it's like it's this kind of thing of like um, and people things that are wrong with capitalism. People blame on Jews just because they're succeeding under it.
Yeah, like
Uh,
that's okay. That's why I just, as I said before, if I really was gonna like hate on Jews or whatever, it's just because of the integration of whiteness to Jewish people, which we then you can break down from there. And but as I said before, I think as at this time and era, whiteness is being deconstructed every other day to some degree, and whether that talk is being happening in Jewish communities as well or amongst the diaspora, if it is, it just people just easily forget about things. So I don't know. It's just God, I don't know. It's just a lot to say. Like
yeah. Well,
even like black Jews, people forget about black Jewish people. Like
also true. Also true. Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
to say about them and their and
Yeah.
how they have to live their double the triple conscious kind of state of being.
Right. Okay. Yeah. 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 I kind of like. I mean, there's weird shit like. Yeah, yeah. It's weird just what where people call themselves Jews or not.
Yeah,
You
black,
don't you don't have
we
to.
got black people talking about some Hitler was right, and it's like, yo, Hitler would have killed your ass. What are you talking about?
Well, yeah,
Like,
that was. I saw someone tweeting like someone was like, not like Nazis are not in a good space when their two biggest champions are like a Mexican virgin, Nick Fuentes, like a Mexican virgin and a black guy. It's like they're not like you're not winning this, man.
it's not. Yeah, it's not gonna go through.
Yeah. But anyway, man, yeah, let's yeah, we can wrap it, man. We can
Yeah,
wrap it. But anyway,
2 hour mark.
yeah, dude, thank you so much for coming on and hype something at the last minute. I mean, you hyped at the beginning, but what's up next with what's up with Crispin Wah, let's say.
We are the what's it called? Two of the members, the guitarist and the bassist, Brother Brown and Monochrome Sweatsuit. They have a Twitch channel and it's called Curio Lab. So if you just go check their stuff out, then that's like at least a lot of stuff and content to hold people over because we're working on like a new material, but like they're always on that. So at least
Okay, what
that's
is
like
it?
another avenue.
Wait, Curio, what is it? Curio
Lab. Like
Curio Lab cuz I can link to this in the description below. So,
yeah. Like there's Curio Lab because as I said, because Crispin Wall is always making stuff, but they're always making stuff on that, and it's the much more of a accountable thing because they release a lot of content through that.
oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Like because the other week I was there's a beat segment called Brother Brown's Baked Beats, and I was on there like the second time the other week, and every hour we make a beat, and it was really really cool. So that can be stuff that can be eventually future Crispin Wall material or just whatever.
Yeah.
There's that. There's a project. There's some kind of thing I'm working with, like VOB, but like,
Okay, yeah, you don't want to yeah.
just so anticipate for that. Maybe if it
Okay.
hopefully goes through, maybe.
Dude,
Um,
get that bag, man.
trying mailbox money, right? But there's that. I'm always trying to get my hands on something. I'm trying to work on some sample packs with the drummer from Manchester Orchestra, uh,
Tight.
Tim Berry. So we are trying to work on some things. I think also Crispin Wah is going to work on a sample pack as well. So be on the lookout for that, everybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just really trying to just get into like more just hopefully music based work and whatnot. I'm trying to even do touring next year, like helping on tours. So if I am, then maybe catch me behind a fucking merch table slinging some merch
Oh
for some
yeah.
really cool bands. So
Okay.
I'll
Tour
be
manager.
not TM. Oh my god, not
Yeah.
TM.
Okay.
But
Just merch. Yeah.
just merch and like other things like that. But if
Yeah.
that be the case, then it'll hopefully be for some really cool shit and hopefully just get my hands in that kind of field. I just need to I want to be working in the thing that I will invest into the most, to say the least.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
hopefully get a return.
Yeah. No, you're doing it already. You're fucking on the way. On the way
Yeah,
up,
no,
man.
thank you. I
It's
appreciate
beautiful.
it.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
I guess that's it.
Yeah,
More or
dude.
less.
I'll see you. I'll see you on the other platforms.
Yes.
And hopefully I'll see. Yeah, I don't know when when Extra Life or anything is coming down Atlanta way, but yeah, hopefully
If
I'll see you in person
you
at some point.
if you do, I think there's I mean, there's a homie I can, it's not the guy you guys booked through the last time, but there's better venues to do cooler shit at. So
Okay.
I
Yeah,
think,
yeah,
So
yeah,
you can talk to me whenever you want, and maybe there's another time to talk about another album, if not about Hoteps and
yeah,
Kendrick,
yeah.
even
We'll
if
do
it
some
is.
metal. Yeah,
Yeah, we can do some metal. I'd be
yeah.
down.
We'll do metal shit next time. Yeah,
Fuck yeah, I'd be
yeah.
tight. Till then, thank you guys
Sick,
for tuning in. I really appreciate it.
dude. Yeah, thanks to everyone, and thanks to you, Senum. Check you out
Yes,
soon, man. All
y'all have
right,
a good night.
peace.
Peace.